All right, we're go.
We're go.
We're go.
All right. Hey, you see the hat I'm wearing today?
No, I can't see anything right now.
Oh, well.
You got to peek around the corner.
Can you see now?
Other way. Your other left. Yes. Very nice.
Okay. Do you know why I'm wearing my ICCC hat?
Because William Catt was announced last week.
Okay. Do you know the other reason I'm wearing my... I'm excited about William Catt. I'm excited. Go ahead.
No, go for it. We talked about it last week.
Yep.
But yeah,
William Catt. William Catt, Bruce Boxleitner. I mean, what more could we want? We got Lauren Peterson.
It's a must-watch Tuesday night TV at ICCC this year.
And you know the best part? You can still get tickets to ICCC.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we'll have to talk about all the memes and the videos, because my favorite today was somebody was like, "Who's the greatest villain in Star Wars?" It's not Darth Vader. It's not Darth Maul. It's not Tarkin. It's this guy, and it showed the little symbol from the queue when trying to get your tickets on Celebration, and it's like this guy just walks and walks and walks and walks and walks and walks, and after 3 hours, all I can get is Thursday and Sunday. It was.
I wish I could have got Thursday and Sunday.
Oh, I know. It was.
Start the show.
All right, let's get this rolling.
Spectre 2 reporting in. This is Vanessa Marshall, and I play Hera Syndulla on Star Wars Rebels. You're listening to the Hyperspace Heroes Podcast. That's no moon.
And now, on with the show.
For bladder check. 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 Wait. Screw it. I'm holding it.
Brown Squadron.
Podcasting, the final audio frontier. These are the legends of Brown Squadron.
Our computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
The ongoing mission? To explore the Star Wars universe and other nerd culture topics. To seek new content and new cantinas, bars, and lounges. To boldly annoy Scruffy by making too many bad jokes. Welcome to the Hyperspace Heroes Podcast.
And welcome to Hyperspace Heroes. This is Brown Leader signing in. All wing report in.
Brown 4 Estaki.
Right on. And Brown 2 is on special assignment again. Maybe we'll see him again next month. I don't know. We'll see. And I think he is going loony tonight, I think, because I did not see him at the other location. But DB, how are you?
I'm frustrated. You talked about the little Running Man on the ticket site for Celebration.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 4 hours on that site, and when I got on, sold out.
Right? Crazy.
So, you know what? I don't want to be negative. So props to all those who got their tickets to Celebration next year and the 42,000 scalpers out there.
Right. You don't have to be negative, because I think the internet's already being negative enough. I mean, just the amount the amount of love for Pop Reed going out there right now is because 20 tickets, really 20 ticket max. You could,
we only needed 3 of those 4-day passes. We only needed 3.
Right, exactly.
I saw a great meme of Cassian Andor, and it said, "I've been in this line since I was 6 years old." I thought, that's how I feel, man. That's how I feel.
I saw that one too. So it is it's May already, if you can believe that, which means we're only a little over a month away from ICCC. They dropped the badge art. I did not have a chance to grab that today.
I didn't look at that. I've been busy all day.
In fact, I got to reach out to the artist, because we should see if we can try to get him on before
absolutely
for the June show in June. But we've got a show to do tonight. We are not here to talk about Maul, but man, that ending.
Fire.
they nailed that ending.
Yes, they did.
You know, not a bad. I'll just say this: not a bad saber fight in the whole series.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil that for anybody that might be watching, but yeah, it's definitely worth the 10 episodes, solid lightsaber fights, good storytelling, and season 2 win, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks when it's not so much a spoiler for everybody.
Yeah, right on.
It's a great show.
This is episode 172 or 197 on the Spotchka scale, and we have got a guest coming in tonight. He made a cameo a few weeks back when we had Daniel Romero on, talking about cosplay, fan films, Star Wars acting, a lot of different things. One of our clips did quite well. This gentleman had Boba Fett at his wedding, so it was a great experience. A Star Wars fan, true and true. He's got over, I think it's 56 credits on IMDb right now.
Wow. You know what? That's only 56 more than I have.
I know, right? But he's been we'll talk a little bit about his career, but for most fans of the show, we've had him as a Tusken Raider in Book of Boba Fett, a stormtrooper in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the covert commander, as Daniel loves to talk about, the covert commander in Mandalorian, Mr. Rory Ross, and we're going to bring him on stage right now. So, Rory, welcome.
Hello there. I'm also considered the better looking Mando, if you remember. So.
That's right. Better looking Mando. How are you?
Love you, Daniel. Love you, Daniel.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun watching. I watched Daniel's episode through and through, and it was kind of like staking that out. It was a lot of fun, and some of the stories that I shared here is really, really cool.
Right.
That was a fun show.
I also want to give a shout out as we're getting into the interview is Star Wars Hunter 18. So he has really been the catalyst in hooking a lot of these interviews up with us. So I always like to give props where props are due. And Clint has been just a champ in hooking all this up, just a big fan of the community, and has asked for nothing in return, and couldn't find a better Star Wars fan. And if you have not seen his May the 4th video, all of us were in it, and so I definitely suggest you check that out. He captures fandom, what fandom is, the positive side of fandom, and he put out a great video and a follow-up on the Revenge of the Sixth or Fifth, I think. So, but yeah, Rory, welcome to the show. So we'll kind of get right into it, because I know I know once we get into a certain project, we're gonna talk. So we'll get through the starter stuff, which is what does Star Wars mean to you?
You say that's a starter, but man, you know, anybody who knows me, Star Wars has been something that's permeated throughout my life. Daniel, at this point, I feel like Daniel knows the story. Like, he'll look at me and he's like, "Do you want me to say it, or do you want to say it?" It's because it's such a really something that's really powerful, and it's really been impactful on my life. I grew up on a farm far, far away in Lockridge, Iowa, and there was like maybe about 200 people, so it was a pretty small town. And then I grew up on this farm. It had emus, ostriches, Russian boars. We also had a pet store. So I literally kind of was living on a zoo. We had all these different animals and crops, etc. But while I was living on the farm, about 6 years old, I contracted a rare fungus on the back of my head. And my scalp was literally falling off. Like, this isn't like, just like little pieces. It was like chunks coming off. And through a series of events, I ended up in the Iowa City Children's Hospital in Iowa City. And the first day I was there, I went through a decontamination chamber. Like, it was like a zombie movie where I literally went through there, got like sanitized or whatever, and was there for about a month. And while I was there, I saw kids that got better, and I saw kids that presumably, you know, that was potentially it for them. And, you know, for me, that was super traumatic. You know, here I am, 6 years old. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I don't know what's going on with me. We didn't know if it was cancer or what it was for a really, you know, for at least a few weeks. And so while I was there, I was in the infectious disease ward, and, you know, I was just trying to figure out what's happening. But my mom, bless her heart, she, on that first day, she brought Star Wars A New Hope. And seeing that movie, seeing that Luke's journey, you know, he also growing up on a farm and overcoming these insurmountable obstacles, the freaking Death Star, that's what gave me hope that I was going to be okay. And so throughout my stay, I continued to watch Star Wars: A New Hope. And so that is forever my favorite movie, no matter what. And when I left, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, but whatever it is, I want to bring that same hope and inspiration to people like Luke did for me. And so you kind of fast forward a little bit. I turned 13 years old. I ended up leaving home because I have an Uncle Owen Luke situation where my dad and I'll just say we weren't really simpatico. And so I basically made this sort of jump into the unknown and got my mom to let me to move to Seattle on my own. And I went to a private school. I paid 10 grand for freshman, sophomore year, and then 12 for junior, senior year each. And while I was there, I did outreach every weekend. So I would go out to the homeless encampments there in Seattle or Tacoma, hand out hot chocolate, or, you know, just trying to find ways of being of service, as, you know, trying to kind of live in that sort of, you know, the inspiration that Luke gave for me is like, how do I give back? And then that continued all the way through college. And if you want to see, I shaved my head into a rainbow mohawk to help build bathrooms in Honduras. We raised over, I think it was $3,000. My bet was if you did $500, I'd do it. And then we went 3,000. I was like, well, I gotta go with the rainbow mohawk. And so there's videos of me like doing ultimate frisbee, and you just see this rainbow streak like running across.
That's awesome.
But, you know, and then during that time, I went to this exhibit called Where Science Meets Imagination. And it was this exhibit all about how Star Wars and science influence each other. Because at the time I was going for aerospace engineering, and I have pictures with Boba Fett, with stormtroopers, with Tusken Raiders. And, you know, that just was kind of a crazy, really cool, fun experience. And when I graduated from college, I again made this weird kind of shift. And I said, I want to become an actor. I want to be able to tell these human stories, these human experiences, and allow people to kind of live in someone else's shoes to understand, you know, how it might be for somebody else. And since then, I've just constantly tried to find ways of still giving back. And in 2020, I started this campaign called Born to be a Jedi. And I had my friend make me a custom-made Jedi outfit. They made it for me. It was just as season 2 was coming out, if I remember correctly. And Boba Fett had just appeared. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, this is my chance maybe to get into Star Wars. And so I went out to where they shot that scene, went with a friend of mine who was a Mandalorian. We did this epic photo shoot that looked really cool. And then that Christmas, my wife, she made me a custom-made Jedi figure called Jedi Master Ross. And I remember opening that and just being like overwhelmed with this emotion of somebody that believed and supported me so much to this point. You know, it was something that was very overwhelming and in the best of ways. And then you go 2 months later, I'm talking with Tamara Mowry from Sister on a different job, and we're talking about dreams and manifestation. And an hour after that conversation, I get a text to be a Tusken Raider on Book of Boba Fett. And I lost my shite. I was like, oh my God. Like, I'm going to go get the NDA a little quicker, but I didn't sign an NDA technically at that point. I was just like, you know, hey.
Bonus.
Yeah. So I got to tell her, and like, that was really cool to share in that moment. And then the first day I end up on set, I'm donning on the robes as the Tusken Raider. And there I am on Tatooine, the birthplace of Luke's story, and now the birthplace of my story on Star Wars. And it was just like, dude, it doesn't get any better than this. And you know, I was full of emotion. I had the mask on, but I was definitely crying quite a bit, you know, and just like overjoyed by this opportunity. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to meet Warren Prue, who actually ends up being the stand-in for you, and he was doing camera tests at the time. And he was like, hey, here's this email this and da-da-da. And all of a sudden I found myself as a stormtrooper on Kenobi for all the episodes, went for that for like 6 months. And then right after that got asked to be the Mandalorian Covert Commander on Mando season 3. And it was just this is crazy. So the full circle of that all is that now when I do conventions, anytime I sell anything, 5% of whatever I make goes back to the Iowa City Children's Hospital, the same place my story began. So it's amazing. The fans are amazing. And I'm just forever blessed in this to have this opportunity is just really, really cool.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. My follow-up question is usually, tell us about your first Star Wars experience. But I have a feeling we just took that journey with you.
And then some. And wow, I think you win for best answer on what a Star Wars movie is. I mean, that's true. Wow. Yeah.
And I would have guessed from your age that you would have been a prequel kid, but you discovered the originals first, huh?
The originals first. Wow. There's a funny story though of when Attack of the Clones came out. Spider-Man also had just come out, and I was really excited to see that. We got over. My mom said for my birthday, I get to go see whatever movie I want. So I was like, Attack of the Clones, obviously. But we get there, and technically the runtime had already started. So she's like, okay, we're gonna do Spider-Man. She lets me have my own money to buy my own ticket. They buy their tickets first. I wait till they're inside the theater, and I got my Attack of the Clones and like took off running. Didn't even think to say anything to my mom. And then I remember I came out and I saw them with popcorn. I was like, why'd you guys get popcorn? I didn't get any. They're like, well, you saw Attack of the Clones without us. So I was like, fair enough. But I literally got in just as the opening crawl was happening. I was like, yes.
Nice.
That's awesome. Good timing. Yeah. Rock on.
Wow. Oh, you got some great stories, and we're only a few minutes into the show.
Right?
Wow.
So you shared a lot of stuff with us, and I found a picture that I want to refer back to your story on. And so there he is with the right on with the mohawk, man. That is a sharp looking mohawk, I will say. Wow.
So here's what's crazy about that. So there's a time lapse video somewhere that somebody posted, but as we're doing that, apparently because my hair is so dark, you have to bleach your hair. And we didn't really talk about that too much. And then all of a sudden, so we started the bleaching process, and I don't know if they didn't do it properly or something happened, but after the third bleach, my scalp started burning. Legitimately. And so I was like, oh my God, like this is intense. And they're like, we can stop. And I was like, no, we raised $3,000. I am not stopping. We're making this happen. Like, let's go. So we did that. But the other reason why that mohawk, I think why people kind of were helping me raise money for that was because, so after everything happened in the hospital, went back, when I was 6 years old, I have a scar that's on the back of my head that I used to keep covered all the time because like kids are just the worst. So like, I remember when I was in elementary school after everything happened, somebody saw it and they're like, oh, it's like Frankenstein, and so you get in your head and you like, wear a baseball cap or try to keep your hair so long. And a lot of my friends from college were with me in high school, and they knew like how conscientious I was of it. And so I had to make myself vulnerable more ways than one, not just like, hey, I'm like talking to people and trying to raise money, but it was also like, hey, I'm now showing off this scar that has been, hidden for X amount of time. And so it was a daunting experience, but to be able to do that and help build these bathrooms in Honduras in a school that they had built. And this school, I think, had about 500 kids or something, but they only had like 1 or 2 bathrooms. And I was like, no way. Like recess for kids is like, that's your social development time. Like that's the time you get to learn how to, relate to people and the social elements. And I was like, no way. So it was really cool to be able to help and be a small part of that.
Right on.
Wow.
Yeah. And then DB, just to flaunt. Check that out. That's dope.
I am so jealous.
What a great looking card back and everything. That's awesome.
Except for the head. The head's turned over.
That's okay, right? Action figures are action figures.
Oh man.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
shout out
awesome.
to my buddy Blue Box Designs, Daniel Lowe. We actually ended up doing we did 20 card backs and 20 figures. And it was to help his son who was going through cancer treatment. Unfortunately, his son didn't make it, Jack. We love him. He was amazing. He was such a trooper. But we did 20 of those custom figures, and all that money was going to his treatment to try to help out and, either get them stuff when Jack was home, because, originally he was able to ring the bell and everybody was like, oh, this is awesome. And then they found more. And, it was sad, but it brought a lot of people together, and Daniel and I are still friends, and he's just an awesome influence. And positivity in the Star Wars community and Doctor Who. He's a huge Doctor Who fan.
Oh, I love Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
So before we get too far, so I'm really intrigued by the whole charity thing. And where can people find information about that?
Yeah, if you go on my Instagram at the Rory Ross and you go to the beacon link, which should be like the first or second link in the bio, you'll see "May the charity be with you," and it's an ongoing charity. Basically, every time I do events, then I donate, or other people can donate as well, and that all goes to the Iowa City Children's Hospital for the Steed Foundation.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely try to get some links going on that, because that's just dude, that is awesome. That is just what a journey and what a way to give back. That is just phenomenal, sir. So kudos. Can't give you enough kudos on that. So we talked about, kind of how you got into Star Wars, and what was your, kind of think back, I think you said the first thing you did was Book of Boba Fett with the Tusken Raiders. So kind of take us back to what was the first day on set like?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was, during the pandemic, so things were a little crazy. We had taken over this parking lot and we did multiple railroad cars and we brought in the sand. And I remember, like I said, the first time going in, realizing it's Tatooine, realizing the importance of the story. They let us know early on of, hey, these are the Tusken Raiders. This is not your typical story of what we showed up to that point. I think in the previous movies and canon, we saw them only as savages or, desert people. Like it was a kind of a derogatory at best. And so this chance or this opportunity we had to tell a different story and to say that a person or a tribe doesn't represent that race, essentially, just like in real life. And so for us to be able to showcase and say, hey, these people were actually trying to protect what is theirs already. And, the Pikes are over there trying to steal their water and everything else and, running amok. And it was like, hey, no, this is the Tusken Raiders. They are humans. They are people. And they deserve also that like respect and adoration in a sort of sense. And so it was just amazing to be able to be a part of that. In a personal side of it too, is like I'm an 8th Native American Alaska Inuit. And so I know of some of these stories that happened, not all that long ago when you really think about it, in terms of, the US government and all this kind of stuff. And so it was really cool to be able to tell that sort of story. And everyone was just really great. And then I remember too, like with the outfits in general, you're wearing multiple layers. You're wearing, I think I had like 8 layers at a certain point. And so the sand is like getting everywhere and then the wind, but you understand like why it's like based off the Bedouin people. And so the multiple layers, after you started sweating, it actually cooled you down when that wind kind of hit you. But it sucked if the sand got into your goggles, because there isn't much you can do after that. You're like, oh, I'm blind, I can't see. And then even with those insets, it can be a little weird for yourself because your depth perception's off. You're about 2-3 inches, so things appear different than what they are in real life. And there were so many times where we would all kind of domino each other because you can't see, you don't know what's going on. And so you hit somebody here and then pop, 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 pop. And so we'd have to redo the take or, whatever. And then one of my favorite scenes, I think actually that we did that comedy wise was we did we did the scene where Boba brings in the speeder and he's trying to talk to us. He's trying to be like, hey, this speeder, it's for us, this. And I remember as he's talking, we're literally still taking off the pieces and like ripping it apart, like scavenging it. And my buddy Kane, man, he was hilarious. Originally we were supposed to stop at a certain point and he just kept going. And then finally Boba looks at him. He just throws the piece being like, oh, I didn't do anything. Like nothing was there. So, it was just a lot of fun. And we had so much creative freedom in terms of being able to sort of give personality and this sort of depiction of how we felt about Boba, how we felt about each other, and just the environment in general. And I really appreciated that. To take that kind of creative ownership was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then a point of rivalry. I know you got the role on Mandalorian as the covert commander, as Daniel likes to remind everybody. And so kind of take us through that journey with being on set with Mandalorian.
Man, I mean, it was a trip. Well, actually, before I jump on that, I will say, so the Jedi outfit that was made before I even got on the show, I actually got to wear it when I wore it on May the 4th. It was when we were filming Kenobi. And so that was the day that we were doing the scene with Tamora Morrison and Ewan's daughter. And then it was myself and Fedor, and we actually are the ones that encounter Ewan. And he was like, oh my God. He kind of like got freaked out because, you know, those are a bit intimidating. And this was his first time interacting with the stormtroopers. And so that was super cool. But I remember at the end of the night, I'm trying to look for my Jedi robe because that's what I came in. And I can't find it. I mean, we'd already been shooting for like 17 hours. And I'm like, I'm not going to go back like just wearing my briefs. Like I need a little bit more covering like going on here. And so I'm like looking, nobody's able to find it. It took almost, I feel like an hour because I mean, you know, everybody's trying to wrap up and, you know, it's been a long night. We have a next day doing a whole bunch of stuff. And finally they find it. And somebody had thought it was so legit, even though it didn't look like Ewan's current robes, they put it with his stuff. And I was like, that's super cool. So I had to tell my friend who made it, I was like, hey, check this out. And she's like, oh, that's so sweet.
I mean, if you're going to lose it, right? I mean, at least you got some, you know, you've got a great story. It's like, absolutely. Wow. That's cool.
So much fun.
That
but cool. To your question, original question about the Mandalorian, what's funny about that is originally I came on as a pirate. I was a Nikto. And I had this weird sort of Matrix moment because we filmed things super out of order. And so we're filming the rescue of Navarro first. And you actually see my Nikto pirate being pinned down by my Mando here on this side. So it's like this weird, you don't really see him in the same frame from what I remember. And so it was like interesting because I did that first. And then they're like, hey, we want to fit you and put you in this. And I was like, oh my God, yes. Like, this is awesome. Because the outfit was way more legit and cool. And the persona, the sort of, badge of honor, so to speak, as being a commander was even like better. Coming from being a stormtrooper where in Kenobi, I held Flea down when he's getting taken out by the Grand Inquisitor.
Okay.
And as I'm holding him, he just starts flopping all over the place. And the armor was pinching all over. And my arm was black and blue. Ouch. So I get home and my wife was like, what happened to you? And I was like, a flea bit me.
Boom.
Should have saved that one for a dad joke of the week.
I got plenty on that one. But anyway, so yeah, but back to Mandalore and all that. It was awesome. Daniel and I met each other pretty early on. And then we just always got to be in sort of the same scene. And they put me as kind of Paz's right-hand man. And then Daniel and I were like right there. And Daniel, he being in some of those other military roles, I mean, he carries himself in a very legit way. And so I would have to try to like mimic him a little bit because I hadn't done as much military, but the places they did put me, I love that photo.
That's a good photo.
Was a lot of fun. And, there was so much great stuff that we filmed that they cut. Like, there was the scene when Bo was trying to get us to go back to Mandalore. And we're all like, what? Why? And originally I had a line that said, why would we go back? It's cursed. And they took it out. But if you look in I think it's the gallery and maybe even in the actual episode itself, you actually see me do the body movement, but cool. The line was taken out. So Emily and I are actually going to be at Power of the Force. We'll probably be able to talk more about that. But it was just like being able to have that opportunity and be with just so many great people and really everyone on Star Wars is like family. And it's just awesome when we all get together. It's like nothing's changed and just having a great time.
Right on.
That's I'm jealous. I'm twice your age and I'm jealous that you've gotten to be a Tusken Raider, a stormtrooper, a pirate, a Mandalorian. I mean, everything I wanted, in 1978. And that is so cool. and that you've made friends and you had these great stories. I mean, wow. I'm fanboying right now. Sorry. Hey,
well, I mean, it comes back to right. Community is a key thing in the Star Wars fandom. I mean, it really is. I mean, look at us here and the journey we've had over the last almost 5 years now, and just getting to meet. And in the end, we're all just fans, and we have that in common, which is a cool little touch point.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a fun piece of trivia. I bet you didn't prepare for, Brown Leader.
What's that? Bring it on.
Not only has Rory played a stormtrooper, a Tusken, and all these other things, he played the lead singer of a band in a video.
Oh, really?
He played Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. Did I read that correctly?
That is correct. So if you go on YouTube and you look up Linkin Park heavy behind the scenes, it's myself and Chester and Kiara and a few others. And yeah, I that was a crazy experience. That was 2017. So in 2017, I got Lee Harvey Oswald, and I got Chris McCandless from Into the Wild, and I went out to Alaska and filmed at the bus and all that stuff. But with Linkin Park, that was crazy because I was doing an event. I used to work for Oculus, the virtual reality company, so I used to get to travel around the world doing different things. And I was just doing an event, I think for Coco or something like that. We were doing a Disney property of some sort and showing off an experience. And I get this text and they're like, "Hey, we want you to come out to this thing." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm working this, like I would love to, but," and so I was like, if you can maybe push it back or something. I wasn't expecting they were going to do anything, to be honest. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Yeah, actually, we're going to wait for you." And I was like, "Oh shoot. Well, now I got to like hurry up and get this done and then like wrap it up and, take off." So I get there. And originally, when I get there, there's like, I think 8 of us, and we all look pretty similar. And I'm thinking to myself, what? I'm really confused because I thought this thing was rehab patients. I mean, like, do we all look crazy? And we all look similar? Like, what? Okay, sure. And so like they start going like, "Nope, you're too big, you're too skinny, this and that." And I was like, damn, they're being like ruthless over here. And I just couldn't figure it out. And then finally gets down to me and this one other guy. And then Chester comes out and we take off our shirts, and Chester's like standing next to us. And like they're seeing like who looks the most like it. And oh man, you got the actual, oh man, all the feels. Yeah, if you fast forward just a smidge, oh man. And he loved this. He loved that car, the Mercedes. He was huge on that. Right here. So go back a little bit. This is kind of setting up. I don't know are you able to play sound through it?
A more exciting emotion to capture on film because you get to break stuff. Any excuse to destroy
love
things.
breaking stuff.
I'll take it.
Why is everything so heavy? You say that I'm paranoid.
Right here.
But I'm pretty sure.
This is Rory.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. And he goes on. We talk about like how we were yelling compliments at each other, and
Pretty sure.
This is Rory.
What's up, guys?
He was Chester.
Number 2.
And when he becomes a huge famous actor, I'm going to be his body double in his movie.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be Rory number 2.
We had some of the best yelling matches. We're yelling at each other, but it's not like anything obscene. We're like, "You're fucking awesome! What's this? It's gonna be awesome! Are you ready for this? You're amazing! You're amazing!"
I yelled, "You're adorable" at
That's
him.
true. That's the first one.
You're adorable! Keep up the good work!
oh man,
That's awesome.
the feels. So, oh man, just to finish that story, and then I could say a little bit more. But so basically, Chester comes, we're looking at us, and then they're like, "We'll reach out to the producer, we'll let you know." Now, this is still early on in my career, especially at this time. This is, I'd only came to LA in 2016. And so I wasn't completely used to the set life, so to speak. And I saw all this free food, and I was like, "Oh, yo, I got to jump on this like right now. So I'm over there eating like burgers and stuff, got high metabolism. And as I'm eating, I remember I'm like getting ready to eat this like awesome club sandwich. I was like so excited. And they go, Rory, you're not the guy. And I was like, oh man, okay. Can I take the sandwich still? They're like, yeah, you can take the sandwich. So I take the sandwich and I call my mom, you know, and I'm like, hey mom, like, you know, I'm not breaking the NDA because it's not happening. So this would almost happen. She's like, oh my God, that's so cool. She's like, well, you never know what's going to happen. I'm like, Mom, they're literally filming in like 4 days. Like, it's not going to happen, whatever. And so I go back home and the next day I'm watching Stranger Things. This is season 1. So when we see the finale, we don't know what happened at 11. We're like locked in. We're like, is the Aegos her? Is like, what's happening? It's like Inception, the top. Is it spinning? Is it not? And so literally get to the finale. And the director, Tim, calls me and he's like, hey, Rory, how you doing? I was like, Tim, I don't know, man. I'm like all over the place right now. I just watched Stranger Things. I don't know if 11's alive. I just need to know. And he's like, I can only imagine on the other side being like, he's like, well, I don't want to add to this emotional roller coaster you're having right now, but Chester wants you. He wants you to be the guy. And he's like, but are you willing to go like bald essentially? And I was like, you know what, Tim, at this point, I want to make sure I get the job. I'm going to go bald. So I was like, they gave me fake gauges and at some point, I guess they asked me if I had stunt experience, and I did the Hollywood thing. I was like, yeah. I technically had a little bit. Well, the stunt coordinator doesn't show up that day, and so they're like, Rory, well, you know how to fight. I'm like, yeah, totally. And so Chester looks at me and he's like, you don't do it. And I was like, hey, man, I got the job. No, I don't. And so they're like, we'll put you in a room for about 30 minutes. You guys try to figure something out. And the only thing, we go to the room and I'm supposed to grab Chester underneath his neck or whatever to like a chokehold. And he's like, hey, man, I just need to make sure like my neck doesn't get like, you don't hit this because this is where I get paid. Like, you got to keep this. I got you, man. And so we did that. And he said, just get me from behind. And then we just looked at each other and been like, oh, here comes all the bad jokes. And so for 30 minutes, it's just us being super inappropriate, just talking all this stuff. And you know, then we get there and on set, and he had his kids there. And originally we're supposed to cuss and do all this stuff. And I was like, hey man, especially because your kids are here, I was like, I can get that same emotion by yelling compliments at you. So if you're cool with that, I think that's like a better thing. And so he told his kids like, you know, hey, daddy's going to fight fake daddy. And, you know, don't worry about it. It's not real life. And so then that's when we go, oh, you're fucking awesome. Da-da-da. I love you, Bubble. You know, like, and it was so cool, man. And, you know, having that opportunity was amazing. Chester and I came from very similar backgrounds. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot we resonated with. And you know, he was just so cool. He was fighting his demons like many of us. And he would tell me, he's like, I can't be like trapped in my head. I need to be with people. You know, and that was really what Heavy was all about. It was like, the song is all about like reaching out, and, you know, why is everything so heavy? Like you gotta like grab somebody and have your loved ones actually, you know, check in with them and that kind of stuff. And, you know, and when he did the song, the track wasn't playing. He was just like screaming it out and doing it live and raw and full of emotion. And it was just like this crazy, it sounded awesome. So when it did come out on radio, I remember being like, that's not what I remember, but okay. And, you know, and everyone was like, that's not Linkin Park. And I felt for him because they got a lot of stuff, you know, like bad comments and etc. because of that track. But I mean, he was just so raw and so him. And he actually ended up giving me my whole wardrobe from that shoot. And then he and I signed a jacket for his Music for Relief Foundation that we were doing a charity thing for. And, you know, I'm forever grateful for that. And, awesome. You know, I know this isn't Star Wars, but like, I hope people, when they feel down, or even if they don't necessarily feel down, but they feel like things are coming up and they feel like, getting overwhelmed, reach out to somebody. And don't be afraid, because you just never know what's going on in somebody's head. And you could be the person that really is that hand that comes down to grab them and lift them out of the water. So,
yeah, you're very lucky to have worked with him.
Yeah.
And what a loss.
Yeah. And thank you. No, and you know what? We're not all Star Wars here. I mean, we center around Star Wars, but life is life, and we really appreciate you sharing that with us. That is just an amazing story. And all good, man. All good.
Yeah. Well, notice I couldn't scream like Chester. You hear my voice. I'm like, yeah, we laughed and we did this and we did. Because I remember he literally was like, they were having me do something because I was, I was his body double. So I was like trying to like imitate him to the nth degree. And he looked at me and he's like, you're not gonna be able to hold that. Like, you're not screaming exactly right. And I was like, no, this sounds great, man. I'm killing it. I was killing it, but that was my voice, not anything else.
Yeah.
Right on.
My stepson's a huge Linkin Park fan, and he's going to love this segment when he sees it. So you're going to have a new fan.
Right on. All right. So talking about
no, I just want to ask him about the poster behind him. Can I just ask him about that?
Actually, thank you for the transition. I'll bring it up on screen, actually. There we go.
A great poster.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Andres Martinez. He does stuff for Marvel, and all of this is done by him. There's no AI. He did an amazing job. This is his work of art. And just all the different elements that he put in there. I mean, I know you guys have seen the film. You can recognize more or less the main stuff. There's only one thing that's really hidden that we didn't put in there for a various reason, but he just did an awesome job.
Yeah, right on. Okay, so you recently released a film that you did, and you were the lead in, and called Path of the Lost. And let me cue up. Let's watch the trailer to kind of give the viewers a taste of the film. Okay. And then we'll kind of go from there. So let me bring that up. Here we go. All right. So share. Where are we at? Okay, here we go.
I'm so proud of you. Of all the endless stars, with all the endless children, he chose you.
Did you come to the desert because you fear the rain?
I don't want a pet. I need a monster.
Get out of my head.
You should be excited, Zephyr. The universe has laid your path. It's time for you to walk it.
Right on.
Man.
So I love that sequence. The get out of my head sequence. That had to be a nightmare of editing, but it worked so well.
It did.
Yeah.
That definitely stood out when I watched it, was that sequence. I'm just like, wow. So Path of the Lost. This is let's kind of, I want to talk about, obviously we don't want to go into too much detail. Want people to find the story. Great story, by the way. And obviously the first question is Path of the Lost 2 when? Right?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the fans. They, it's up to them if they want to see an episode 2, which we do have, framework for. They gotta do the share, the likes, all that stuff to show that actually there's enough audience that really wants to see it. Right now, we're almost at 8,000 views, which is awesome. In
nice.
4 or 5 days.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, everybody listening and watching us, get on there and watch Path of the Lost because it's amazing.
Right on. And make sure you share it. We'll add links as well. So tell us a little bit about the story of the making of Path of the Lost. How did this, what was the genesis of you guys wanting to do this kind of a production?
Yeah, so it kind of goes back. Well, not kind of. I mean, it goes back to the original. To with A New Hope when I first saw it. I obviously really resonated with Luke, and as it watched on, I was like, oh, I would love to be Luke Skywalker's student at his Jedi Academy, and that was something I was like super like in a perfect world that would be amazing. And then obviously Force Awakens happens, and we see Kylo Ren just ransack the whole place, and I was like, well, maybe that won't happen. And then the Mandoverse occurs, and the funny part when I look back is that Book of Boba Fett, we actually see Luke's academy. That's the beginning of it. And so it was like, I did not know that's what was going on as I was filming, my stuff, but it's just really cool to kind of see that coincidence, I suppose. But after, or as I'm on the shows, I kept telling them, I said, look, I don't want my face seen. And they're like, what? I said, I don't want my face seen unless I get to be Luke Skywalker's student at his Jedi Academy. I was very like straight up about it. So that's why I ended up playing other aliens and stuff from time to time on there. And and I was just like, yeah, that's my thing. And then after Mando, they were doing Ahsoka, and I think, and then they ended up doing Skeleton Crew, but I wasn't brought on for that. And so, I decided to sort of put my fate, so to speak, in my own hands and create my own little story. And so I got my crew that I had been doing projects with for some time, Zach Klapperick, who, is our amazing writer. And then Michael Filippi, who I worked also with quite a bit. And then Faye, Zach's wife, we had done projects together. And I was like, I have an idea. I said, the loose framework is, I want to be Luke's student at his Jedi Academy before the ransacking of Kylo Ren. And I want to take on, I think I'd said early on, I wanted to take on something that was bigger without giving too much away. And so the genesis then through Zach really helping us flesh out the concept, and he made these amazing characters, Briz and Clune or Riot. They're super fun. And then Jukta, headcanon, that because he looks like Luke, there's some element that's happening with me. But basically what we wanted to do is then go from and saying, if I survived the onslaught, and I left beforehand, what kind of shame and guilt am I dealing with? And then especially to put on top of that is that I was chosen by Luke, taken from my planet, from my mom, who already was having a really hard time to let me go. That then when everything went down and I didn't do anything, so I already have the what if I changed anything? Could have I changed the fate of my friend, of Tress, who you end up seeing later on? Could have I done anything? You have that. And then also I feel like I can't go back home because I just became a failure. I just shamed my whole world, my mom. How could I ever go back? And so then you bury your head in the sand and until something sort of comes out. And the human element of that is I feel like all of us deal with shame and guilt at different times. And sometimes we feel like we can't tell somebody or ask for forgiveness or feel like, too prideful to say, I'm sorry, or whatever it might be. And so for that aspect of it, it's like that shame and guilt, it can eat you up if you're not careful. So it's either going to come up in that sense, or you're going to have to confront it head on. And Zetho is faced with that choice. Mm-hmm. And then you see what happens and potentially what can happen even further from there. So it was something that we wanted to get back to, a character-driven story. We still wanted to have your lightsaber fights as you saw in the trailer. And we wanted to play a little bit with some expanded universe stuff that we've seen and create our own story from that, and just have a chance to tell this in our own sort of way. And now the film's almost 40 minutes long. Mm-hmm. Had an amazing cast and crew. We had almost 70 people work on it, and they all did an amazing job. Without every single one of those people, this project could have gone down. And instead they uplifted it. They've made it into what it is. We did the cast and crew screening on Wednesday of last week, and we had such a great turnout. People were awesome. We did the red carpet. Like everybody, you know, we wanted to make them feel like, hey, you were a part of this. You are the reason this has happened. Now go have fun and enjoy yourself. And we put on the big screen. We had surround sound. Like it was awesome.
That's cool.
It was mind blowing and so cool. And I even told the story of like, you know, when we were filming, and we're filming out in Lancaster, it's like 2 hours away. We're filming, and I remember being on the truck, and I'm with Michael, our director, Keegan, who's a really good friend of mine, and myself. And we're on the tailgate, and we're driving. We're like picking stuff up because I'm not only the main lead, but I'm also a producer and having to make sure like the place looks clean and all this stuff. And so we're on the truck at the end of the night driving, and I just remember looking up at the stars. And it's like crystal clear, and it looks so beautiful and so nice. And I was like in awe, because if you would have asked my 6-year-old self, like if I would have been able to leave home, leave Iowa and not be a farmer, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, if you want to be a farmer, absolutely.
Right on.
But for me, I had dreamed of something bigger, but I didn't think I was going to be able to actually leave. And so not only to be able to have left and pursued my dreams, and to such a crazy cool degree of being able to do all these cool things, you know, besides Star Wars and everything else, but to be able to do that, be in California and be with these amazing group of people who are literally helping me create this awesome story that's so close and dear to me was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, what? Like this, dumbfounded of like this has happened. This is a reality. This is a possibility. And now for everyone to see this story come to life, and it being out and getting so much positive feedback is more than I could ever ask for.
Right on.
It's an excellent production. I mean, I love fan films, but let's be honest, most of them come off like community theater or something. This looks like a professional production, you know, with actors that actually have talent. And yes, he looks so much like Mark Hamill.
Yes, his cousin.
Really? Okay. I believe it, because I thought the same thing when I watched. I'm like, man, that is that's definitely a Mark Hamill. Yeah, right on.
It's a fun little headcanon though when you think about it, of because he looks like Luke, that I would see him more as a father figure, even though it's definitely not the greatest of relationships, as you see as the film goes on. Right on. But he has given him protection. He has given him some kind of solace, and he does believe in him. You know, he says in that opening scene of like, you know, I remember a human pod racer, and like, you know, and you gave me hope. You gave me like this like feeling nostalgic that this could happen. And you know, obviously he doesn't look so happy there.
Now, did you choose this actor for that specific? Because that was the first thing I thought of too, is like, okay, this is a reminder of Luke. I mean,
there was definitely a little bit of that for sure. I mean, David did a great job in his audition, and he just had a great persona. One of the big things with Vision Ray, with our production company, is we say no ego, and every single cast member and crew member, they were constantly of a giving sort of service and wanting to do what they could to make things better. And David, you know, he was so easy to play off of, a lot of fun, and has a lot of character.
Right on. Right on. So what you talk about, in the character, one of the other subtle threads that it struck me was when you're talking about, Zetho dealing with the shame and the regret, and, you can see it influencing him. It almost made me think of like, what was going through my head during a lot of that was, are these some of the same things that Anakin was thinking during his adolescent years of growing up? I mean, it's like the parallel there was really uncanny as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, especially as once he takes out the Tusken Raiders and stuff. And the only person he really confides in is Padme and Palpatine, and that's to his own demise, as you see later on. Yeah. The other part of it too is the real world aspect of it. My mom, when I left at 13, it was hard. It was so hard for her to let me go, and understandably. But she had to. She felt that there was kind of a greater calling in some sense, and that, you know, by letting me go, I was going to be able to flourish even more than what I was currently in that state. And I owe a lot to her on that. And that's why, you know, she has the Rory's favorite mom. But I wanted to do favorite mom in general. But my wife was like, well, we all have great moms. So I was like, fine, fair enough.
Fine, fair. Right.
But, you know, she's always been incredibly inspirational and just a powerful woman that I owe a lot to. And so there's that piece as well.
And a great message just in time for Mother's Day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Moms, we love you.
There we go.
So how long did it? So what's the pre-production time on like something like this before you even begin shooting?
Man, well, so let's see. I ended on Mando 2022. So I feel like early stages was November of 2022, if I remember correctly. Got together with a few friends, and that's where it was kind of brainstorming. Drew Annan, he was with us originally on our original concept was called Blood and Sand, and we had a whole lot more. We wanted to do TIE fighter, or not TIE fighters, but we wanted to do like a dogfight. We wanted to do most of the things on a volume, and unfortunately things didn't exactly work out, and so we kind of left that, and then we kind of reframed and went in a more character-driven place, and I think it really helped it out. You know, who knows what could have happened with the other one, but at the same time, I'm very happy with this character-driven, you know, and human element to it. I think we did a great job in giving you little pieces of things that we all love from Star Wars, but also making a cohesive story. And that's cute. But we were able to make that a cohesive story, and so like I said, November 22, that was like kind of the beginning stages. And then really we kind of kicked it around for a while, and then the strike happened, and I didn't want to do something then. Even though it wasn't going to be Disney affiliated, we still wanted to make sure that we weren't, you know, in that sense, sort of supporting what was going on. And so I would say then 2024, we started kind of jumping back into it. And it took a hot second. And then it was 2025 where we were like, you know what, it's kind of now or never. And so literally we had a lot of things kind of set up and kind of ready to go, but it was like, we have an opening, like, let's do it now. And it was like a month and a half before my wedding. So it was really guns blazing. I don't recommend that at all. It was something that really, you know, made us go and you know, be a little bit more nitty gritty with what we had and being more you know, suave, I guess, with the resources. I mean, the Oasis that you see in the trailer, that thing is literally 6 feet wide, and it's maybe 2 feet deep, and you have a pool and all this stuff. And so, you know, we had to be really crafty.
Right on. Yeah, and you know, and that's part of the filmmaking process, right? Is when you've got to balance your resources, you know, and sometimes the story pivots, and in this case, I think it less dependent upon the special effects and more on the character driven. And I think it really, I those things are meant to be, I think, sometimes, in terms of, because I think the character driven nature of this film, that was really, honestly, I mean, it was, the fighting was good, the special effects were good, but it really was the character portion of the story that drew my attention as I was watching it.
Yeah, I think the first word I used with you, Brown Leader, was cerebral. This is very cerebral, and your favorite thing is character driven. And man, you've got a character here who's, you know, we've got an issue or two.
a little bit.
Yeah. But he does end up facing, you know, maybe he's forced to face it, so to speak, but he still ends up making a choice without spoiling it for everybody else that hasn't seen it yet. And so, and also on top of that, like we had, part of the amazing team is like, that's all original score. That is completely done just for this film, all by itself. We had an amazing sound mixing team that really was able to, make the surround sound, little bits with that. And then all practical sets, and just an amazing team that really was able to put it all together.
Absolutely. You guys were from Max Rebo. You guys were nimble, utilizing lean principles. Right on. Exactly. Yeah, that was exactly it. One of the other things that I wanted to show off that you kind of shared with us was some of the concept art, and very, very cool stuff. And I can see the bigger, like you were just describing, kind of the bigger vision of kind of what you guys might have been thinking about originally. But this, based on where based on where you're leaving the story, there's the room for that next step, I think.
Big time.
Right. I think, wow, what a transition into that based on the concept art that would be, I think.
Yeah. And the ship is all original as well. So, we would definitely be utilizing that. And one of the things that I really liked and wanted was, I would have loved to have been in the theater in 1977 with the Dolby sound, first time with, the Star Destroyer going over. And so that was part of why we wanted to have that opening shot that happens. And shout out to Sneaky Zebra. They did Echoes of Darkness, and he was awesome. We became friends at his little premiere, and he actually did that opening scene for us, that animation sequence. And
it looked really good. Really good. I was impressed. It was right up there. Here we go. Some of the ship designs for that. But you guys went into full, concept art, very, 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 very cool. Definitely a passion project. You can tell with everything that went into it, even the stuff that didn't make it in quite into the production.
Yeah. No, I'm incredibly happy, and I mean I'm very happy that people have said that Zetho is a fleshed out character, and they felt the journey. But I also I have to forever just give props to everybody else who without them, it's sort of, I think, kind of to put it into perspective, it's like if you watch a show and you just had the main characters, but let's say you're in a courtroom or something else, and you take out all those people and you just have those two main characters, you don't really have a story. You don't, you have dialogue coming across, but it's without those other pieces that really gives you the telling of the environment of how everybody's feeling, the thoughts, etc. That's what tells the story. And so similarly to this is like, if I didn't have them, like there ain't no Path of the Lost. So,
right.
I have to give them credit.
Right on. And did you have like a screenwriter for this, or was this a lot of, how did that all come together, on a project like this?
Yeah. So like I was saying before, Zach, our writer, he was the one that really fleshed everything out. And so everything you see, more or less, there was a little bit improv, especially for one of the end credits. That was all improv. That was all prison. Yeah. That was, they were a hoot. It was funny watching them. But for the most part, everything else, it was a script, and then we would, play with it on the day and that kind of stuff. But, the particular shot that you guys talk about with the Get Out of My Head.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I'm jealous. That would have been awesome.
Unboxing, right? Unboxing. Shout out Unboxing. Thanks for joining us tonight.
I did the shot of Get Out of My Head. So I filmed that 3 different times. So, and if you notice, the setting actually changes. So it goes between Osis and the actual room itself in Tatooine. And so the only thing I had sort of as references, one, we locked the camera, so then that way the camera wouldn't move. It had the locked position, but I could only see the frame of where my face was originally. But in terms of movements and everything else, I had to keep that in my mind, and then also try to make sure that I'm telling the story through my eyes in the different points of view that's happening in real time. And that was an acting challenge in itself, for sure.
Right on. So did you get all the filming done before the wedding, or did you have to come back after the wedding and wrap up filming?
There was only one shot we didn't get done before the wedding. That was kicking the robe. Okay. That was the one shot. We had to do a pickup on that. But otherwise, everything else, literally, I want to say we got done like the week before.
Wow.
Okay. It was nuts. Nuts.
Right on. Right on. And then going into post-production, what was the editing process like in terms of, and like how much extra footage, when we get the Zack Snyder director's cut, how many extra hours of footage are we gonna get?
Oh man, thankfully we didn't cut too much in the large scheme of things, but at the same time there were so many. I felt for Michael because there was minute differences and different takes, and so he had to try to figure out which one he felt like was telling the story just a little bit better based off of the point of view that was occurring. But I mean, the special effects, because he was a one-man team and he's still working a regular job, that's a lot. That's a lot. And we had people who were like willing to help. I mean, like I said, Gary from Sneaky Zebra, he helped out with that opening sequence. But everybody's been kind of hurting for work. And so when work actually happens, the 9 to 5, you're like, oh, I got to take this. So, it was tough. But I mean, man, he killed it. He killed it. The pod racing, yeah.
And I think once you have a vision too, you don't want to start switching editors, partway through, because you got to have that vision locked in, right, for that consistency factor in the final, in the final production. So Max Rebo, the re-release of the theatrical version of New Hope in 2027 will be amazing. Yes, it will. Yeah. Cannot wait to be sitting in the theaters, because I missed that in the theater myself as well. I'm not as
I saw it. I saw it first run in 77 and it was amazing.
It was.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right on. So definitely Path of the Lost. Check it out. Let's get it some views on YouTube, because I can't stand a cliffhanger. So let's just for my own satisfaction, guys, let's get the view count up, and so that we can persuade Rory and the production team to go back in
and yeah, there's more than one character that I want to know what happens, and you have to watch through the credits to know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's funny.
Without a doubt.
We were all talking like Clune by the end of the day. Like, oh, I don't know, guys. I feel like this is kind of.
Yeah, I don't know who that actor is, but he chewed that part up.
He did.
Yeah, Brett Richard Kelly. He does a lot of funny skits. He's got a TikTok and YouTube, and if you just go on my Instagram or Vision Ray Entertainment, you'll see he's been doing some Clune videos that he was filming apparently while we were doing that. We got some stuff he's been releasing.
Right on. So what's next, Rory? What are you moving on to next?
Ooh, I think right now, I don't necessarily have anything super on the docket. We're getting ready to go to Cannes Film Festival. Jamie is Alone is one of the films that we did, and it's going to be screening at the Short Film Corner. Brett is actually one of the actors in it, and then my best friend Conrad, he was Tristan. He's the other main character in that, and so we're showing that off in Cannes, and then while we're there, we're going to be also trying to pitch our other movies. Like, we have a full-on fledged movie of a Christmas movie that we're in the process of doing. We have an adventure kind of film that's like Iron Giant meets Hook. So we have other projects that we're doing, and I'll be a part of in some sort of sense and form. And then but the hope is with Path of the Lost, that will allow other opportunities for me as an actor. And hopefully you'll see me again on the screen soon. There'll be a Netflix project that you'll probably see me on the screen sometime this year. That's more of a comedy, and it should be fun.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Very, very cool. Any other questions, DB, before we flip over into Collection Corner?
No, you asked the question early on. When does part 2 come out? Because I want to.
Yes, right. Right. So a couple little comments, and then we'll go into collection corner. From Maya, technically, I was at New Hope in theaters. We're not going to go there. We're going to leave.
Let's not go there, Maya.
And Max Rebo, X-Wing pilot movie. I bet you that's why Adelphi's not on tonight. That's probably why they're not watching, because there's no X-Wing. But he's missing out. But and then Max Rebo, fake documentary of the day in the life of the second most famous rock star on Tatooine. There you go.
That'd be pretty lit.
Right on.
I will say this. If we get to do episode 2, you'll probably see some flying. And then also the Mandalorian Civil War, from a certain point of view, I'm in that as one of the co-stars, and that is coming out next year. Right now it looks like it'll probably coming out, I think, January. And that'll be at the ShroudCon Film Festival in Vegas. So if you are available, come out to that, say hi.
Right on. Yeah. We were looking at some of that when Daniel was on, and that looks, and I'm a Mando guy through and through, so give me more Mandos, and I absolutely cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
And
come back on the show when that comes out.
Right.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. By the way, speaking of Daniel, did you guys see what was in the credits?
I missed that.
So because Daniel wasn't able to be in the film, we did send him an audition, and he did not audition in time. That is on him. But in the credits, it says, "Thank you, Daniel Romero, for still being our friend."
Oh,
I didn't see that.
That's hilarious.
I have to go back in.
Right on. So yeah, that's funny. All right, let's flip over into collection corner really quick. Let me load up my.
Get ready for the best music, Rory.
Right.
I want it all. Keep no time to approximate. I want it all. And I want it great now. I want it all. Yeah. Brown Squadron.
All right, collection corner. Scruffy is not on tonight.
I'll bet he got some comic books.
He probably did, but you know what? I'll take a portion of his segment. And okay, so as DB is well aware, I have become a whatnot person, unfortunately, and found some stuff on Whatnot, which is an addicting site, and I'm a Whatnot addict, and I need to break myself of that. But there was a cool channel on there called Sleemo Trading. Great name for a channel, an auction channel, nonetheless. But Scruffy is the main comic book collector, but they were doing a variant night of covers. And because I am such a Mando fan, picked up this very cool variant cover
excellent.
Of issue 6 of Mando. And it was only like, I want to say it was like $4 on the auction, which you can't pass that up. But I also picked up what they call a virgin version of it, which is without all of the comic book information on the front. And for me, it's all about the art. I won't even open these at this point, but it's couldn't pass those up. So wanted to throw those in there because Scruffy's not here this week, and I know he's going to be super jealous. But DB, let's flip over to you.
Well, I have tons to show, but I'm going to halt right there because I have one thing, and it's current, and I have to thank Mrs. DB because there's a certain fast food restaurant that has Mandalorian and Grogu tie-ins, and I'm too cheap to go buy a $15 meal, to get a cup. So Mrs. DB swung by. They're still in the wrapper.
Very nice.
But she got me all of them. I haven't even taken them out of the wrapper. There's four different Mandalorian cups to tie in with the new film, and they'll find they're they're plastic. They're not glass like the old ones from the 70s. But they're going to find their way onto the shelves with all my originals from 77, 80, and 83.
Hopefully that also means they don't have lead in them like they did back in the original glasses. So
you're not wrong.
Yeah. No, we talked about it the other week, and the merchandising machine behind this movie is just insane. I mean, it's absolutely DB, I don't think you were on last week, but Sam, I was in Sam's Club shopping, and which I love the merchandising just for the fact that they're doing it. It takes me right back to my childhood, you know, seeing everything on the shelves, and I don't even have to buy anything. It's just fun watching or seeing them put that much effort behind the merchandising again. But I was in Sam's Club, and these are like beef jerky sticks. So, you know, with Mando and Grogu tie-in, I mean, it was like, really, but hilarious nonetheless. And thankfully I'm not a beef stick guy.
I'm not gonna lie, I bought some of the vanilla wafers that are colored blue to look like Grogu's cookies. I love vanilla wafers anyway, so
right on.
And I don't know if you know this, but I was actually on the Burger King commercial. I was in the blue pilot outfit. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I posted a picture.
I did not know this.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. It was our customers from Mando that were actually doing it. And then a few of us, myself, a friend of mine, Pam, she plays a lot of creatures. What's funny is originally they said, "Hey, we want you to be a creature," and I was like, "All right, cool, that's fine." Get there, and they're like, "No, we want to see your face." I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I'm like, it's for a hot second, but somebody sent me a picture, and actually you can see me pretty clearly. And Mando's looking at me as Grogu's doing his thing with his hands, and nuggets are coming up in the air.
That's
most excellent.
I can send I don't know if I can send the photo to you guys if you want to see it. But, let me see. Or I could maybe just throw it even on my phone. I don't know.
I got to say, when fast food places do these tie-ins, great. You got the toys, and I've got toys from Taco Bell in '99. But Burger King's actually trying to tie in their food with some goofy experimental stuff. But they have something called the Blue Cookie Shake, and I love me some milkshakes.
Diabetes.
Allow myself like one shake a week because it is all sugar. It's good stuff.
Oh, it was kind of like the blue milk when they came out with that. It was just
all sugar. Yeah,
all sugar. I've got the commercial up if we want to. We'll keep the audio off just so we don't get banned in Belarus again. But that should be on the screen. You guys should be able to see that.
Yeah, I've not seen this commercial.
Oh, you can see me a little bit even right here.
Yeah, right there in the front, right?
No. In the far back.
Okay.
Yep. Other way. Keep going. Towards the bar.
Oh, towards the bar. So,
right there?
Nope.
Right there?
Right there. Yeah.
Right on.
You'll play it and then you'll be able to see it.
Oh, right there. Is that you right there?
Yeah. There's a slightly better shot.
Is there a better shot? Okay.
Oh. Like I said, it's super, super quick. But somebody had sent me a photo. I don't know if you're able to see it off my phone, but can you see that pretty clear?
Here, let me bring it up on stop share. We'll bring it up closer. Right on.
Oh yeah.
Right on. That's awesome. I
was like, cool. Oh snap! Because there at one point we did a shot where I'm actually straight up like looking at Grogu as he's doing his thing and being like, "What the heck?"
And they cut that.
Yeah. I mean, you never know what they're gonna do because if you saw my face super clear, that's like a $50K plus payday, and that would be amazing.
Okay.
And I'd be like, all right, so the next movie is next movie. Yeah.
Right.
Well, now I got to go back and say Tusken Raider, Stormtrooper, Mandalorian, Chester Bennington, and a Burger King commercial? Come on. No, that's cool. You get to play a pilot too. Put that on the resume. That's
well, and you know what? Now I'm really gonna rub it in Adelphi's face for skipping this episode, because you're officially an Adelphi pilot now, at least in our books. And so definitely gonna have to DM him tonight, Max Rebo, and let him know that we've got an Adelphi pilot on the show tonight. So how sweet is that? We're big fans of the Adelphi Rangers and Carson Teva and Teva, and we've had Paul on the show. Great guy, just outstanding gentleman. And we've got one of our he was on the show with us last week, James from the Adelphi Rangers Instagram account. And so we're always talking Adelphi Rangers. It's we'd like to see them develop more of that storyline. We think it'd be fun,
like the Rangers of the Republic.
Yeah, and base it around.
Republic, I should say. But
and base it around the Adelphi Rangers. You could do that. You could also do you could turn them into a different version of like a Rogue Squadron show. You could you know what I mean? I mean, they're in the zeitgeist right now in terms of Star Wars community. They're a thing. They're going to get hopefully some notoriety in this in the upcoming movie. So I'd love to see a spin-off series featuring them. X-Wings every week on your TV. What's wrong with that, right?
Yeah. Hey, right? and you've already got experience as a pilot. I think you're a shoo-in for this concept of a show.
There you go.
Yeah,
it'd be super cool. I have a friend of mine who's working on a project, and it seems like it's gaining traction, but potentially I would be a pilot on that from World War II.
That's cool.
That would be super cool.
That's
neat.
Cool. Yeah. I was always a big fan. Baba Black Sheep was a Pacific Theater World War II show like that, where it was like this fighter squadron in the Pacific West or the Pacific during the World War II. During World War II, and it's like I could see them turning Adelphi Rangers into something like that. It was like a weekly adventure show where this stuff went on, involving the squadron, and be fun to see something like that in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna grab something real quick.
Go for it.
I'll be right back.
We'll show some comments while you're going.
Okay.
Yeah, so unboxing, my collection was just posted to my channel. Can you say Mandalorian and Grogu? Rock on. Unboxing.
Right, that's the only thing out there right now.
Max Rebo, I heard the Adelphi Zeb is the best cup.
Oh, hey, you want to know what Adelphi? Was that Adelphi or was that Max Rebo? Oh,
it's Max Rebo, because Adelphi's not on tonight.
Well, then I'm not going to bother showing this if there. That's the Max Rebo cup. You can't see the glare on the plastic. But it's a Zeb. That's the Zeb.
Right on. Unboxing. I have the original glasses from all three of the original movies.
Yeah, they're the best.
Max Rebo, I got some True Moo Blue Milk this week. Diabetes.
Oh,
and look who joined the show, Adelphi Rangers. You've got to warn me before this stuff.
Oh, do we have to go back and redo everything?
Nope, but you have to watch the replay. Okay. Adelphi, or maybe Max Rebo can fill you in.
There's the Zeb. There's the Zeb cup.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
I will take them out of the plastic. They'll display much, much better.
Right on. What else you got?
That is all I prepared this week. Because some things keep showing up on my desk, and I finally brought them home, but I left them upstairs in Mrs. DB's realm. I'm down here in the dungeon, so I'll bring them on next week or the week after.
Right. Unboxing wants to know, are the cups heavy duty plastic?
They're pretty light. I wouldn't put a lot of liquid in these, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know how the bottom of a paper cup goes out after a while? I could see that happening with these.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But again,
I mean, they're cool designs, but they're not dishwasher safe, that's for sure.
But again, you know what? It's just the level of merchandising. It's just so much fun right now.
It is. I love going in the stores and going to the toy section and seeing displays again.
right. And then the cross marketing, with everything. And I just like the Burger King and the, but yeah, you missed it, Adelphi. So our guest tonight, Rory, was in the Burger King commercial. He's in a Zeb blue color flight suit in there. So sitting off to camera right when you first start the shot, first start the commercial. But yeah, how cool is that?
Yeah,
Anything else?
I'm gonna have to show that to the family. Hey, yeah, we just talked to this guy. Well, my stepson's gonna go nuts when I tell him the whole Chester Bennington story. But
Unboxing. I love to go into Target and Walmart right now and seeing all the merchandise on display along with the display promotional material. Right on.
Right on.
Y-wing pilot in my headcanon. There you go. There you go. So while we're waiting for Rory to come back, did you have anything else, DB?
Not worth sharing right now. I'll hold it for another week.
And I'll save that till Rory's back. So this is another Whatnot pickup that I picked up.
Is that a 3 3/4 Black Series from back in the day?
It is. It is. I paid a little more than I should have, but
it's cool.
Thanks Adelphi, again for introducing me to Whatnot. So pick that up.
Is that a Macquarie concept? Is that what that is?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just more based on the prototype from when he was like talking about doing the Super Troopers.
Okay, for the original idea.
Yeah, it's that version. It's like what they had in the 70s or late 70s before they actually came up with Boba Fett. So,
hey Roy, what's going on?
Welcome back. So, Delphi Rangers ended up joining the show, and they said that with wearing a blue suit, you'd be a Y-wing pilot.
Yes. Sorry. So
no, you're fine.
I just got these. So this is really Kryko, a Melito. This is who I was in Kenobi along with my buddy Greg Kufera.
Oh, that's dope.
But this is an actual Topps card. This is a middle version of that.
Oh, that's cool.
So that is way cool.
They'll be in the first time they'll be seen is at Power of the Force in Germany, which I'm heading off to in a few weeks. And then I also have this one.
Oh, let's get that back up. Oh, that is cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then I have the basic that'll be there as well.
Right on.
That's a great shot. Man.
Very cool.
You got your own action figure, you got your own cards, man.
Right. I know. How dope is that?
If only I got an actual figure from Hasbro or somebody else.
Right. Let's see. Yeah, Adelphi. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
So Adelphi's trying to catch up with the show now.
Yeah. So Adelphi's the one that introduced me to Whatnot, unfortunately. So, and my credit card is slowly recovering. But the other thing we'll show and we'll wrap up is I've got a few things on there I cannot show because they are for DB, because DB's birthday is in a couple of days. So happy birthday, DB.
I'm gonna be 29 again.
That's right. 29 and then some, right? And
there you go.
So we should play this, right? So but I did pick up, so like I said, I went on a Whatnot streak, bought a bunch of stuff. Most of it is actually for you and Scruffy. But the funny thing is that I did buy for myself, and I think these were like $3 a piece, was some R2 measuring cups. I will actually use. I will break it and take it.
Who doesn't need those? I mean,
right. And then the same seller later in the auction, and I didn't even know this was a thing, but it's an R2D2 soy sauce bottle. And I will have to start making more Asian dishes so that I can start to use more soy sauce.
Can you put other kind? Can you put like Tabasco or some?
Right, something.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out like that. But wanted to show off a couple things really quick, and then we'll start to wrap up the show. But I've got, so as DB, one of the things that DB does is he does a lot of dioramas back in the in the back there.
Nice.
And recently introduced got Scruffy and I each a starter diorama, and it's like cracks. So once you start one, right, this is the one that he started us with, and I just put all my loose there at one time, but then of course the longer it sits there, I got to start manipulating it. So I ordered some additional Navarro backgrounds. So, but anyone in the chat. So as you can see right now, I'm just using cardboard for the ground. So by all means, anybody in the chat that does dioramas as well, you want to throw some suggestions. It's sitting right back there. I added some lighting, but we'll definitely start to enhance that as time goes on.
Cardboard Galaxy on eBay actually sells floorboard pieces.
I already spent a lot with them. I'm good. I'm good. But we also have a submission this week from a viewer for Collection Corner, and I wanted to make sure to point that out. And this is from William, and he shared this. We know his dad. So yeah, right. Darth Smiley, or what do we call him on the show when he was here? When we talked about Manny's character, Darth Gun Show.
Darth Gun Show.
Darth Gun Show. Because of those biceps. Right. I mean,
that's pretty sweet, William. That is pretty sweet.
William, nice addition. Thank you for sending it. And anybody watching, listening, you can always send us in submissions. We will want to show off your collections as well on the show.
And anything you want to send us, we'll sign and send back. No.
Right. But yeah, so let's close this segment.
Oh, Rory, run now. Run. This is where the show goes downhill.
This is
I got some.
And I want it mint now.
All right, so that was Collection Corner. No, actually, we're gonna. So Rory, let's. One of the things I wanted to show, and I've had this queued up because we talked about it at the beginning, and I want to kind of bring it full circle, which is the charity. And so let me bring up. I want to show people how to find the charity, because I definitely want to put our 2 cents in behind encouraging people to donate. And so if you go over to his Instagram, the Rory Ross, and then if you come down into the links, let's see, I think it's right here. You'll get that pop up, and then if you hit over into the beacons.ai page, that'll take you into his Beacons page. Looks much better than ours, I will say. And you can also find the trailer. Or actually, that's the full film, right?
That's the full film now, yeah.
Yeah. So you can find the full film there as well. And then because you know what, that's something we didn't mention, because you're in the visual guide, are you not?
I thought I was, but the Germany had just recently got it, and they said I was not. But then I've heard, who was it? Phil, I think, was the one that had posted. Phil Stazik. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right.
Yep.
But I believe he had said that there's going to be season 3 artwork in the Mando and Grogu art book that comes out in November.
Nice.
So
nice. Very nice.
Hopefully, because they posted concept work of myself and Daniel, and so we know that exists. Why they didn't put it in the in that book, I don't know, but
right on. And then if you just scroll down below that, you'll find "May the Charity Be With You." Click that over, and that is the donation page. So very worthy cause, dude. That is just an awesome thing that you do, and wanted to put our little effort behind it. So if you've got a few extra bucks, chip in. It's for a great cause, and help them out. So,
and it's 501c3, so they'll get a tax receipt as well.
Oh, very nice. Very cool. Perfect. All right, Rory, where can people find you?
You can find me at the Rory Ross on all social media platforms. That's Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, even though I'm not on there that often. And then also at the Rory Ross Facebook as well. And that's where I'm now trying to do a little bit more different content. And then Vision Rate Entertainment, that's our production company. And so we'll be at the Cannes Film Festival showing that off, and hopefully we'll get some funding for our next projects.
That's awesome. Very
I'm jelly you're going to Cannes too, man. That's wow.
Right. Okay, let's
yes, you can.
Yes. Oh, perfect segue. And let's get into that. Dad joke of the week. Time to annoy Scruffy and DB. Dad. Dead joke of the week. All right, Star Wars dad joke of the week, courtesy of Kelly Knox's Star Wars dad jokes. And by the way, volume 2 just dropped, and you missed it, DB, because Scruffy actually read from this book last week, and you'll have to go back and watch the replay.
I will.
So, yeah, Star Wars dad joke of the week, courtesy of Kelly Knox, and here we go. Luke didn't know about the Wampas on Hoth. Yeti found out fast.
That was dad joke of the week Now don't you feel absolutely complete?
All right. So
I tried to warn you, Rory.
I have one from college days.
Bring it.
You ready?
Yeah.
I used to say, I looked for love in all the wrong places.
Right on.
Now I have Johnny Lee singing in my head. Thank you.
Rory,
now I have to go watch, Galactic Cowboy or something.
Right. Rory, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight, sir. I hope you had a good time with us. And one of the things one thing that we do with all of our guests that come on the show, we induct all of our guests into membership into Brown Squadron. So you become an honorary member of Brown Squadron. So you're not only in Adelphi, but now you'll be in Brown Squadron as well. With that, you get a call sign and a flight designation. So you will go into the books as Brown 93. I think Daniel, where's Daniel?
Did we kick him out already?
Yeah, we might have. He's Brown 89. Yeah, Brown 93. We pull all of our call signs from Star Wars, obviously, since we're a Star Wars show. I was going to try to build it around, your covert commander, but I think we'd have to go with Zetho. I think that would be the best call sign, right? I think that would have to be the best call sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
well, I'll have to keep this in mind so that should we get to continue with the story, and Zetho gets a call sign, and maybe we can bring it back as a nice little callback.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. But yeah, thanks for coming on the show tonight. We've had a great time. Have a safe trip, and yeah.
Be sure to come back on next time you got something you want to show off.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've got an open invite anytime you want to come on, have nerd out with us, talk Star Wars. Anytime you've always got an open invitation as a member. So let's flip over into, I got to get all my stuff. So this is Hyperspace Heroes again with Rory Ross on the show. You can find us weekly, 8:00 Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can get a hold of us on all of our socials, X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. You can email us at brownsquadron@gmail.com. You can find all of our links at beacons.ai/Brown Squadron. It's nice to see another Beacons member on the group. And I'm going to have to work on I'm shamed. Now I have the shame of our page. I'm going to have to improve ours. Rory, it's been great. Thank you for coming on tonight, sir.
It's been a pleasure, and thank you so much for having me on, and everyone else that came and listened. Hope you check out Path of the Lost. Check it out. See this amazing work of art that some fellow passionate Star Wars fans were able to put together, and may the Force be with you. And this is the way.
Right on. All right, this is Brown Leader signing off for the crew, and you have been listening and watching Hyperspace Heroes. That's no moon.
Oh, yes, the joyous sprinkles.